Hello, people of the internet. Today I will be attempting to build a sensible van for 2000. As you'll see, that's the year this body is from. So I'll start the timer right now. And 5 minutes to entirely design a vehicle. What can I say? The engine and everything. Corrosion resistant steel. I think we can have a galvanized steel ladder. Keep it relatively cheap. I think transverse or maybe longitudinal. Longitudinal, he says. And we can have solid axle leaf. Pretty typical for a van. So next up we have the body. I think we'll go for a standard roof variant. We could get a high roof variant, but I'll go with a standard roof in this case. Should be better for overall handling. We can bring the cab back a little. Don't want to go crazy though, that's for sure. Bring that up. I'm not too sure about the way this is looking, but I don't have too long to focus on it. Let's have a bright pink van. What could possibly go wrong with this idea? I'm just going to try and copy a Chevrolet style of design here, since I don't have any better ideas. So you can get larger. I'm not sure if I can duplicate things or not. It's going to look really horrible either way. Get another one of these and stretch that out. This is going to be our front end design. So ugly as it might be, that's what I'm going for. I'm not sure I like this and the way it's going. We should have some ventilation, thankfully, to the engine, so it'll stay cool. It won't be completely hopeless in that regard. Make that a bit smaller still. And we can have a badge. Just stick a tacky old automation badge there. It's hideous. It's hideous, but it's a front end, so I'm happy with it. Oh dear, 2 minutes in already. I have the front end. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's have a V6. Let's have a... Should we have cast iron? I think aluminium. We can go with a push-rod aluminium V6. Sure, why not? Leave it at 3 litres for the time being. Saves a bit of time. We can go with heavy-duty cast internals, perhaps. Hopefully design this for low revving applications, as it is a van. And we won't need a turbocharger. We could go with single-point injection. We won't need any rapid-fire super performance injection, since, as I said, it is making low-end power, hopefully, if things go where I want. But I do want that to be better in terms of the RPM limit, just to make sure it can run itself. We'll go with a good catalytic converter, and I think we'll just go with a single but quite good muffler. There we go, and we've got 13 horsepower. Oh dear, 1.5 minutes left. Right, this will have to do at whatever power I'm able to pull from it, because yeah, 120, that'll have to do. It's enough. I would like to see far more though, but at this point I'm just happy I've got a functional engine. We'll go with rear wheel drive. We'll go with a 5-speed manual transmission. Pretty good for the time. Should be able to do about 108 miles per hour. We'll go with an open differential. It's not a performance vehicle. Hard long life tyres at 215, front and rear. No major issue of it spinning the wheels up, and oh dear, the time is running out. I'll go with some 17-inch alloys with thicker tyres to absorb some bumps. There we go. We'll go with solid discs, 1 piston on the front of about 255mm, and drums on the rear of about 220mm. Oh dear, less than a minute remaining. I'll go with a fully clad under tray, none of this fancy stuff, 3 seats, a standard interior, standard CD player, Hydraulic power steering, no traction aids, we don't need them. Standard 90s safety. And we'll go with some very standard suspension, I think. Set it up for comfort. And I think we're done. Yes, we are. Just did it there in 5 minutes. Not really ideal, but it's set up. I was really getting concerned at the engine phase that I wouldn't do it, but I sped through the rest of it, and I did build the rest of the car. Now I do just want to stick some final bits on to hopefully finish this off. An exhaust pipe coming out there perhaps. We can go with a fuel cap. Let's go with one of these. It looks odd. Probably will look horrible, but I want that one. And we can go with some tail lights, if I can find them. There we are, right there. This is all purely aesthetic though, hence why I'm allowing myself to do it, because it's not going to change the functionality of the vehicle. As long as I don't add a grille or anything, I don't think that even affects it, but, you know, I'm not letting myself do something like that, as that will definitely change the functionality. We can have a number plate here, if I can get it to snap in, like so. Automation. Same on the front bumper really. I'll also have some indicators on the edges when I get time to add them. Indicators, there we go. Have we got rear indicators, I wonder? Or failing that, rear reverse lights. So we have indicators by the looks of it built in. We could have a reverse light though, so if we go into headlights, we can just use one of these. I think if we go with just one of them, should be all we need, one next to the number plate. It's a slightly asymmetrical van, but it works. Get some handles on, and we should be done when the handles are added. There we go. I'll just throw some on here. They're not going to look particularly good, but you know, it's the function. Function before form, as it would be back in the day. And those ones are bigger than the ones in front of them, which I'm aware doesn't really work. There we go, close enough, I think. So, there we have our design. I'm surprised they even got some design out of it within the time. But, you know, I got the basic cooling done, so even if you had no way to enter it. Oh. My engine's failed. I think I'm just going to cheat then, honestly. I'm not going to do anything that'll affect it massively for performance though. Or, unless actually, I might just be being incredibly stupid. I did move through this very quickly, so I may be able to use the engine as is. Yeah. And I think I want to just adjust this until there's minimal engine wear or something along those lines. But it's got a lovely power curve actually. Problem is, if I push it too far, yeah, I think 4% I'm reasonably happy with. There is some engine wear, but it's not too bad by that stage. So I don't think that's cheating because I've adjusted it, but I've adjusted it to a point where I've only adjusted the RPM limit. Nothing that's major that's changed in the engine. It is torquey, that's the important thing. We're making 100 torques more than we are power. And when it does get the 120 horsepower, it's a very flat 120, which is always what you would want. 15 miles per gallon. It is a pushrod van though, so what do you expect in this particular respect? I've set up for comfort, so it's never going to be particularly sporty, but there's only so much I could do. Yeah, it's just a really flat power curve. I can push it up to 113.1, that's as far as it will go. And what else do we have? 12.5 0 to 60, so maybe if we... I won't lie, I do suspect something seriously wrong with this van to get the engine just flattening out like that. I should be able to get 12.1 though. It seemed like it could hold that. Not too bad for a van, even if it's not the quickest in the world, it gets by. I feel. I'd imagine a diesel engine would have fairly similar statistics to this engine. So, it's not an entire loss. I mean, in terms of power, it's a fairly realistic engine. I'm not sure how heavy it is, though. We're getting 21 miles per gallon now. That is not bad at all. So, we set up for comfort. Maybe it should be set up custom to have a firmer rear end to deal with all the weight. But I couldn't do all that in the time. It would just be impossible. I think I went with McPherson struts on the front. It was all such a rush, so I'm not certain. Yeah, no, double wishbone because that's what the ladder forces me to go with. Okay. Now the wheels. I can't seem to change them on that menu. I can change them on this menu. Yeah, let's go with these ones. Again, that is purely aesthetic, so why am I allowing myself to change it? The brakes should be larger, but at this point I'm building a sensible vehicle, so that's perhaps why they're as large as they could be. It should probably go on 16 wheels, 16-inch wheels in hindsight, or maybe even wider tyres. But there's only so much I could do within the time limits provided. All I've got to do now is take it around the test track and see how it does. Okay, so the time was very interesting, 2:53.28. I've not gone back and changed anything because, other than the stuff I've already added to just finish this thing off really, there's not really much I can do. It's a 5-minute build. Doing anything else to it would be hurting the time, and I wouldn't be honouring it. But anyway, it is right between the tortoise and the tortoise version 2. I mean, exactly 0.04 of a second even, either way. It's so close to those two vehicles. And I'm pretty sure they had more development time into making sure they were actually decent around the course, especially the V2, where I had to make it quicker than the version 1 somehow with less power, which I did manage to do actually. But this is amazing. It's a 1.7 ton leaf sprung van, and it's just come along and it's thrown them right out of its way. I have no doubt though, if I wanted to, as I'll show you now, I could have just chucked some more power and see 123 easily done there without any major detrimental effect on the power curve. Sure, it gets a little rockier, but it's nothing too major in terms of hurties for it. So that's what I was restricted from doing. The miles per gallon is remarkable though. Over 20 miles per gallon in a car with push rods, and that I built this quickly. That's what amazes me more than anything. Still, yeah, it looks carburetted. I don't think it is. I think it's just a type of fuel injection. Before I forget, it is now called the Sensible Motors Van. But anyway, at that, I'll say goodbye until another day.